Bob Swisher, and I've designed and manufactured a tool for putting pistons in gasoline engines. As you know, over the last 40 years I've been building motors, and to date they're still putting pistons into motors with either a dead blow hammer or what they call a pusher or some form of that. This tool that I've invented pushes a piston in without any beating or pounding. So sometimes, you know, the rings would jump out from underneath your ring compressor and you have to start all over. Sometimes by knocking the piston in the engine with a dead blow hammer or a hammer handle, you would knock the bearing off the rod, which of course you put the rod bearing on the rod piston first because it's so hard to get into the crank once you get the piston down in it. If you'll step over here, I'll show you how this tool works. Okay, first of all, this is the tool right here. It's got a tongue on it. This tongue sits on top of the piston. You pull the piston down in with the tongue. This hole in the top goes into between the two cylinders in a head bolt. You can move the piston tool one time to do four pistons on one side of the engine. One thing I like about this tool is I can do the whole thing from the crank side of the engine. Usually you have to have somebody on the piston side of the engine to squeeze the rings, put the piston in the cylinder, and beat it down into the cylinder, while another person guides the rod so the rod doesn't hit the crankshaft journals or the weights on the crank to keep the rod straight. With this tool you can do it all by yourself. We will demonstrate. First of all, of course, you know you oil your cylinders. Put a little oil in the cylinder so that it slides in there nice and smoothly. Okay, now we'll put a little oil on the pistons. This is a standard piston. Put a little oil on it so it lubricates it. Now we'll place the ring compressor about a ½ inch below the last ring gland. It gives your tool plenty of room to work, and it lets the tool get flat on the piston. They've got them little cones you can use, but I don't have dome one. You squeeze the rings tight. Okay, also you want to put your little boots on your rods, bolts, so you don't mar anything. Okay, then you simply slide the piston into the cylinder. Put your tool on the front of the engine with your head bolt. Screw it in 5 or 6 threads, just enough to hold it good so it don't come out. Place the tongue of the tool on top of the piston flatly. Guide your rod in so it don't hit the crank. Pull the piston down past the ring glands. Remove the ring compressor. Again, placing the tool flat on top of the piston. Pull your rod up. Pull the rod down to the crankshaft. Take your 2 rubber caps off your rod. Place your rod cap on. Rod nuts. Tighten your rod cap. Of course, you can either torque it at this time or just put them on just with a speed wrench just to get them tight. Turn your crankshaft for the next piston. Again, lubricate your piston. Just a little bit of oil works fine. Of course, you always want to lubricate your pistons before assembly anyway. Put your rubber boots on the rod bolts. Put the piston in the cylinder hole. Squeeze the rings. Like I said, just go about a ½ inch below the ring gland, the last little ring gland. Squeeze the rings. Put the tool on top of the piston. Get your rod lined up. Pull it past the ring glands. Put it back on top of the piston again. Put your rod so it don't hit nothing. Pull it to the crankshaft. Take your 2 rubber boots off. Put your rod cap on. Install your 2 rod nuts. And like I said, you can either speed wrench them on, or at this point you can go ahead and torque them. It's your discretion. Remove the tool and the bolt. Go between the next 2 cylinders, and you're ready to install the next 2 pistons. I've just installed 2 pistons in the motor in what, a matter of what, 2 or 3 minutes by myself, without any help, without beating on the pistons, without losing any rings, without losing the rod bearings. I believe this is the most efficient tool. Thank you very much.